Able to see him. Here's the pass. Oh, what a catch! Leaping into the air and pulling it down is T. Higgins. Burrow facing pressure. Goes over the top. Wide open is Chase. And he splits the defenders for the touchdown. Cincinnati kid, Hubbard's got a convoy, chased by Andrews, at the
30, the 20, he will score! Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Mon. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. Mon, this is the pre-free agency mock 2.0 on the Bengals Pulse. We are going to be joined by our friend Justin in just a second, Mon. But this is exciting. I know you love mocks, and this is the pre-free agency mock, right? No trades, straight up picking. Let's see what we get. We got 9 picks. It's going to be exciting, Mon. How's your week been?
It's been great. It's been a very busy week. It's a busy week for the Bengals Pulse. We got a lot going on this week. Doing our mock draft tonight. And, of course, we got our free agency special coming up on Friday. I'm really excited about that, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But let's do this, and let's have some fun. Let's figure things out.
Yes, just real quick, for all of our listeners out there, we had Jay Morrison. We got to sit down with Jay Morrison last night, Mon, and talk 40 minutes of Bengal free agency. You guys are not going to want to miss that episode. It's going to be dropping this Friday morning at 9 a.m. Check out the Bengals Pulse free agency episode with Jay Morrison. But tonight, Mon, it is Mock 2.0, and I am very excited to bring back on our buddy. He worked for 24/7 Sports. He covered the Florida Gators. We won't hold that against him. He is the all-knowing when it comes to college prospects and college football. Let's bring him on, our buddy, Justin Wells. Justin, welcome back to the Pulse, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Justin,
go ahead.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you getting us banned in Athens, Georgia. Thank you so much. And we got the key to the city in Gainesville, but thank you. And,
Justin is not, trust me, Justin is not upset about not getting to go to Athens.
Nope. Hey, there's a varsity in Atlanta, so that's fine.
Listen, hey guys, we got a incredible show tonight. This is going to be the mock of all mocks, right? Because it is before free agency. So we don't know what's going to be happening starting Monday when the tampering period starts in the NFL. The way we're going to do it is we're going to bring on our producer, Eric. He's going to kind of run the mock. We're each going to get a round, different rounds. Eric's going to select who gets to pick in what round. We can ask each other what the other one thinks, but when it comes down to it, one of us will have an opportunity to make the final selection. And I'm sure this is going to be interesting and a lot of fun. Are you guys but wait, before we get into it though, Mon, we talked to Jay Morrison last night about Joe Mixon. And, you know, he brought up some really interesting points. And it's crazy, Mon, because today on Twitter, the stuff that Jay talks about with us last night comes up today all over Twitter. The news right now that Joe Mixon likely going to be cut. And no spoilers, but Jay kind of mentioned the same thing. Mon, what are your thoughts about the possibility of not having Joe Mixon in stripes next year?
You know, I'm Team Mixon. I'm Team Joe. I hope they find a way to make it work. I understand the cap number is large, and with free agency starting on Monday, they want to have as much money possible to go out and get players because they need a lot of players, but they need a Joe Mixon. I get it. He's not explosive, but for all of his critics out there, he's never been explosive. He's been a 4.1, 4.2 yards per carry guy. He's been consistent. He doesn't fumble. He would be perfect in a two-headed or three-headed monster backfield because that's the way the NFL is going right now. So if they can find a salary number that works, keep him. Why go out and sign another vet running back for $2-3 million when you can maybe work it out with Joe? Hopefully they can. But right now, you're right. Twitter is talking about a potential cut. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, the Bengals on the hook for over $8 million to Joe right now. 12 days before that, well, 11 days now before Joe Mixon, his $3.1 million bonus comes into effect. It's going to be a very interesting week of free agency for sure. And very interesting to see what happens with Joe Mixon. Justin, real quick on Joe, what are your thoughts on the Bengals possibly losing Joe? Is it a situation where they'll go out maybe in free agency and get a guy or two, or do you think it's something where they might target somebody in the draft?
Well, I mean, it's a good position in the draft, but with their needs, I'm with Mon. I'd rather see something be worked out. But 8 million is a big number too, so that definitely bringing that down would be beneficial to the Bengals. With, as Mon said, a lot of needs. I think it's interesting because when you look at Joe when you looked at him coming out of Oklahoma, he was a part of a two-headed duo there. Right. And he was kind of the slasher sort of big play guy. And now he's kind of taken on a different role in Cincinnati. So, but I do like the possibility of him and Chase Brown kind of building on what they did last year. Hopefully get a little more help up front, open up some more holes so they have more opportunities. But yeah, I personally am with Mon. I would rather see Mixon back another year, and as long as you can get that cap number down.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys. I'm a Joe Mixon guy. I think the Bengals are a better football team with Joe Mixon, not just for what he does on the field, but the three of us, we watch Bengal games every Sunday together. We know what he does off the field and his leadership off the field and on the sideline and in the locker room. He brings so much more to the table, and that kind of stuff is hard to replace. We saw it when Jesse Bates and Von Bell left this year. Replacing leadership sometimes is a lot harder than replacing talent. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Hooday, all of our listeners. Thank you guys all for jumping on tonight and joining us for Mock 2.0. Before we get into the one last thing I want to talk about is this T. Higgins thing. Again, guys, I was reading up, doing some research today with a lot of help from our guy, Jay Morrison, once again coming through for us with all the awesome stats that he always brings to the table. Do you guys know that T. Higgins was the 11th tag in the Bengals franchise history? Do you guys know the last Bengal franchise tag player that actually re-signed with the Bengals after being tagged?
I don't.
Come
on. Give me a second. I'm going to say it was a kicker. Was it a kicker?
It was a kicker.
Shane Graham.
Oh, swing and miss, but very close. Mr. Mike Nugent. Mike Nugent was the last Bengal player. That was back in 2012. He was the last Bengal player to sign the franchise tag and then sign afterwards. We all know how that went. But let me throw this out to you, Mon. This is a really good one. What's the last Bengal player that's not a kicker that signed after being franchise tagged?
The last Bengal player that wasn't a kicker that was franchise tagged
and re-signed with the Bengals. Anybody know?
Mike Johnson.
Tough one. What'd you say?
I said Michael Johnson.
No, not Michael Johnson. He was tagged, but if you remember, the next year he signed the deal with Tampa. Justin, you want to take a shot at this thing?
Carl Pickens. I don't know.
Ooh, Justin, you were close. Brother, you were close. Carl Pickens actually did, But before Carl Pickens, a gentleman named Rudy Johnson was
Oh,
franchise tagged
okay.
by the Bengals and re-signed that same year. The one before that, Justin, you were right. It was Carl Pickens. Very good, gentlemen. Very good. So I guess my point in all this is it's not looking good that the Bengals are going to be re-signing T. Higgins. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully I've been right, and they are going to re-sign him, and he's going to be in stripes for a while. But we will see very shortly. All right, let's bring on our guy Eric. Eric, you there?
I'm here.
Eric. Let's do this,
all right,
Eric.
All right, Eric is here. So listen, everybody listening in, again, in the comments, we want to know who you pick. So make sure in the comments you make your pick as well. Eric will try to throw them up as much as he can onto the screen of who's picking who. We are doing, Eric, why don't you go ahead and set this all up and tell us what we're using tonight to mock.
So this is Pro Football Network, same one we used the first time. It seems to flow really well. I know, Mon, one of your concerns was that it hadn't been updated, but according to the top page, it was updated this morning at 4:35 a.m. So
good.
Hopefully they've taken in some of that combine information and added it in there. A little bit of constructive criticism that Mon pulled out of the podcast was it was great going through this on YouTube last time we did it, but maybe not as good for our podcast listeners. So what we're going to do is we're setting up a 7-round draft today. We're going to do it at normal speed. We're only picking for the Bengals. When we get to our pick, I'll list off a few of the names that went just before our pick and a few of the top players that are still on the board. And the group will discuss it, and each one of the team will have their selection, be able to have the final say. So it's going to be like you're in the Bengals war room. We're going to argue it, we're going to talk it, and someone's going to have the final say, and we'll figure out who that is, or I'll figure out who that is when we get there. I guess maybe I'm Mike Brown, and whoever gives me the best opinion, that's who I'm going to go with.
Oh boy, boy, Mike Brown. All right,
I guess I'm the quality control coach. Okay.
All right, so
we'll get started whenever you guys are ready.
All right, you guys ready? Justin, you ready? Mon, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, listeners, let's mock this thing up. Let's see what we get for the Bengals.
Let's draft.
Let's go.
I'm very nervous right now. I'm very nervous.
My palms are sweaty.
After
Joe Alt's already gone.
All right.
Well, Brock Bowers went off at 7.
Oh my gosh, Bowers already off? What?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh,
no.
this is not looking good for us.
Mims is gone.
Oh God.
So we're going to reject all trades, just so everybody knows. We're going to send all trades packing.
All right. This is not looking good, guys.
I'm not happy. Not happy.
This is not. We might want to restart this one. If we see Amarius Mims went off at 16, Puaga's gone, Latham's gone.
Let's restart all of them with the player we want.
Dude, what the heck? No.
Well, there is a player sitting right there that you love, Mon. Jared Verse is there.
I do like him a lot. Okay,
so Eric,
talk about one at a time. Go. Pick somebody, Eric, to talk.
Eric, talk about first who was picked here, the first 5 picks. We'll do 5 picks ahead of us.
So this is a bad one for us, really, for most of us, because we think we need offensive tackle. J.C. Latham went off to the Raiders at 13. Puaga's gone to New Orleans. Amarius Mims went 16. Even for those that want a wide receiver, Brian Thomas has gone to the Jaguars just before us.
Puaga is my guy, but Mims would be a close second. So, I really hope one of those two guys is there for us at 18. Mims probably won't be, but a guy I would say who will, I think, definitely be there is Mon, your guy from Arizona. I'm drawing a blank now. Jordan.
Arizona. Oh, what do you mean, the offensive lineman?
Yes.
Yeah. Morgan.
Jordan Morgan. There you go.
Yeah, he'll be there in the second, I believe.
Let me ask you guys.
I don't know.
Let me ask you, Eric. Can you scroll down real quick? Let me ask you guys. Scroll down on who we have to pick here from. Let me ask you really quick. Byron Murphy. I mean, he's a name that we have heard a lot about. Again, this is before free agency, so we really don't know what the Bengals have done right now at this point. Justin, tell me a little bit about Byron Murphy. What is he? Somebody that might go here right now?
I mean, that would be a. I am really in the camp. We need to go offensive tackle. But if you had to go a position other than offensive tackle, Murphy would be right up there, because he fills that one of those big needs. He checks one of those boxes. You need a pass rushing defensive tackle, right? Ever since Larry Ogunjobi's been gone, I mean, it's been kind of, you've seen like a slow sort of descent of that group where you're just not getting the production you need. Murphy is a guy who is going to be a disruptor on the interior. And, you know, we talked about this a little bit last week. A lot of times these really good pass rushing defensive tackles are 285, 290, 295, whereas Murphy's more 305, 310. So he gives you a little bit, kind of combines, he gives you the size, but still gives you that disruption on the interior. That would be a great pick in my opinion.
So do you like Murphy over Newton?
Yeah. What do you think about Newton?
Newton to me is a little, I mean, to me, they're close. The one big advantage you have with Murphy over Newton is he's 20 pounds heavier. So
my pick's Murphy. I'm throwing it out there right now. My pick is Murphy.
I watched a lot of the combine, and somebody that blew up that combine that really tested well and his stock is rising is Flatanu from Washington. Played a lot of guard. He played a lot of tackle, very versatile. I'm going to tell you, this guy, the Bengals offensive line needs athleticism. Flatanu is rising. He's rising big time. I'm picking him. Divine talks about him a lot in spaces. I'm telling you right now, he is a fast riser. I think that's going to be my selection. If you know, that's who I want.
What do you think about Jackson Powers Johnson? We've heard a lot of talk about drafting him and basically being able to move him to center next year.
I would love to have him. Honestly, he would be my second choice right now. I love Murphy. We need defensive line. Trenches are huge, but like Paul Brown said back in the 70s, you build your offensive line from the inside out, and Johnson will be a 10-year player for us. And nothing against Karras. Karras is a good center, but I think Johnson can come in and start game one and move Karras to guard if they wanted to.
What do you think?
That wouldn't
Look
be,
at the
that
board,
would be
Justin. Who are you taking?
That wouldn't be the worst pick, Powers Johnson. I think you're going to get better value at that position round 3, round 4. If with this board right here, Verse is not a bad pick. But I just think the need in terms of the position need, I would be leaning toward the Washington tackle or Byron Murphy. I think either of those picks really
my question here
a lot of sense.
My question for you, Justin, for everybody, which one of these positions will still have studs available in the second round? I mean, we've been told that there's so many offensive tackle studs, but will any of them still be there in the second round versus the defensive tackles?
I mean, there's going to be a run on. There's going to be a run on offensive tackles in round 1. You're going to see. I think you're going to see 8, 9 offensive tackles go in the first round. There's no doubt about that. And this particular mock draft demonstrates that. But regardless, whether the run happens before Cincinnati's on the board or if it happens after, I mean, you're going to see a run on guys, even some that aren't even in the mix here. The BYU offensive tackle is also rising. I've seen his name pop up in the late first round on some mock drafts. So, yeah.
So we have 5. 5 have been picked already, correct, Eric?
Yeah, 5 already gone off the board.
So I think we all can agree right now we're either looking at the Washington tackle, we're looking at the center from Oregon, or we're looking at Byron Murphy from Texas. Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
I'm in agreement.
I think so.
Okay.
All right. So
I get to decide who picks. And knowing that there's no tight end on the board, there's no wide receiver, I think I'm going to let Jake take the first round because we know he's not going to draft a tight end or a wide receiver.
No. I don't
So
want to.
Jake, you get to make the decision.
Oh.
Mon will get the second round.
Oh man.
You have to do it, Jake. Come on. Who is it?
I'm gonna go with again free agency, not knowing what is happening in free agency. I'm going to say that the Bengals have got to fix the interior pass rush. I think it is the number one flaw on this football team right now. So I'm gonna go Murphy from Texas.
All right, that's our first pick. Let's do it.
All right.
Listen,
I want
I
this.
support that. Go
Let's
ahead,
write
Justin.
this down.
That's
because
Jake's pick. That's Jake's
Jake
pick.
is picking a defensive lineman in the first round of the draft.
Mark
This
it
is
down.
mark it down.
I did not want
March
I did not
6th,
want the first pick.
Jake has COVID 20.
2024.
Jake has COVID 20.
Okay, wrote that down.
I love it because we can line him up next to Miles Murphy, and we'll have a law firm there, and we can
Sorry,
start
Divine.
making the
Sorry,
signs.
Divine.
All
So
right.
now we're rolling through, simulating the rest of the first round and second round. Johnny Newton went 33rd, so he dropped quite a bit there. Possible pick for us. Tavondre Sweat's off the board at 44, even though we just spilled that
BB.
We're going to
now
reject
I
this
feel
trade.
good. Now I feel good about that Byron Murphy pick.
So we're sitting at 49. Leonard Taylor, defensive tackle, went off the board. Malachi Corley for the Giants. Cornerback for the Colts. Cooper Beebe, offensive guard. Like I said, Tavondre Sweat is off the board. Let's see who we still have available.
BB's one of my guys.
Hey, look who else, Justin, went off the board. Last week, you talked about one of the sleepers of this draft. Look who went off the board. Mr. McConkey went 42nd.
He's slick. Although he wasn't really one of the guys that made a lot of waves at the combine, but I'm a big fan. He just has a knack at getting open. I'm sure he'll end up getting drafted by the Rams and being their next great receiver.
I just say I hate pick 32. I do not want to see Keon Coleman in a Chiefs jersey. Please don't let that happen. That is not going to happen, and this draft is not going to work out if that happens.
Okay,
so what do we got here?
What do we got here? Scroll up some.
This is all we got here. We're looking at this is what we have available for the top ranked players available. Safety from Minnesota, offensive tackle Zach Frazier, offensive. What is that? OC?
I know you're a fan of Frazier, Mon.
I am.
Trey Benson, Florida State.
Trey Benson, solid.
Yeah.
We really probably should be looking for an offensive tackle here since we didn't take one in the first.
And if you look at what survived, it's all defensive tackles.
Of course.
This is not a good draft for us.
Of course.
No.
And
do we
there's
double
Fisk.
dip, take Fisk?
Ooh.
Guys, I got to say this. I hate double dipping, but all the value picks, all the ones that I'm looking at right now available in this mock are going to be defensive linemen. And I see Braden Fisk there. Fisk blew up the combine. He was so dominant there. Justin, you're right. Zach Frazier from West Virginia, great center. He broke his leg late in the year. He was out there doing position drills. I mean, the guy's a warrior. He's going to be a good player. It's just picking a center in the second round is not a sexy thing. I think it's a good need for us. But I see Fisk there, and I'm telling you, I'm going to jump all over that. We're doubling up.
I want to make a case for the sexy pick. Trey Benson is staring us at the face. We've been talking about this lightning and thunder. Can you imagine Trey Benson playing with Chase Brown? I mean, that's the sexy pick. He's the best available. Take him.
So the one thing I'll say about the running back position, and we've heard all the discussion in recent years about how the position is no longer has the relevance it did like in the 90s when you had guys like Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders and Curtis Martin, so on and so forth, Edgar and James. But if you look at the best running backs in the NFL, if you look at the most productive running backs, there's still guys that are going in the second round, the third round. They're not guys that you're finding at the bottom of the draft or in free agency for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, I think when you're looking at needs, I'm not sure running back is the best fit, but when you're looking down the road, Benson is a guy that can really improve that room going forward. That's certainly not a bad pick. But you got to clear holes for those guys, and that's really where the need's at.
So we could take a look at the actual offensive tackles available. They got the best offensive tackle available, according to them, is the 87th ranked player.
Well,
so we're talking a
and
difference in 47.
He had a good combine.
He did. Rosengarten had a good combine, and that's a guy where if he comes back around in the third round, you can probably look at him or Blake Fisher. Those aren't guys I'd be taking in the second round.
Listen, Mon might be right. There might be something wrong with me tonight because I agree with Mon. I don't know if Fisk is sitting there, I don't see how the Bengals don't double dip and go get maybe the best looking D tackle in the combine. Definitely one of the most athletic guys. Again, guys, we need interior pass rush. We need that. And if you go get Fisk right now, you have solidified this defensive line. No matter what happens in free agency, if you go into the season with Murphy, Fisk, and BJ Hill, let's say DJ Reader doesn't get re-signed. If you give me those three inside, I'm going to be very happy.
See, the deal is this. I mean, Fisk and Murphy are the same guy, about 300 pounds. We need –
that's okay.
We need big bodies. We need somebody to clog up, those run lanes. Maybe they'll do that in free agency. I've had a man crush on Fisk all year. He is such a dominant player. That Louisville game, he took over, him and Verse, and what he did at the combine. I'm gonna lean towards Fisk. We're gonna double dip, and we're gonna be set there for a few years.
And all right, well, Mon gets the pick. So unless anybody can talk him out of it in 30 seconds,
Justin, what do you got going?
Well, so I do want to say, because I see this name right here, and I'm going to mention it, and I don't know that linebacker is a huge need, but I'm going to tell you right now, Peyton Wilson is going to be a star in the NFL. He is going to be a big time football player, and he destroyed the combine as well. And that's a name that, say, if he's there in the third round, I don't care what the Bengals did in rounds 1 and 2. That's a guy they really need to look at, and he's here. This is a little early. And I don't think linebacker is quite the same need as offensive line, defensive line, but it is a need. And if he manages to slip a little further, that's a guy they really need to look at, because I think that guy is just going to be a star. And I like his size. I like the 6'4", a little tall for a linebacker. He could probably be maybe a bit of a hybrid guy. Who can give you some pass rushing too, but he's definitely a true linebacker who can play that position at a high level and maybe be your bridge to the future in the middle of the defense.
Justin, some of the people are commenting about Newbin, the safety from Minnesota?
Well, he's from Minnesota, so I don't know a whole lot about him.
I mean, I say he's 6'1", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's my pick, I'm picking Fisk.
All right.
Well, it's your pick.
It is your pick.
So, good, Fisk. Double dipping.
And just remember, you had the opportunity to pick Trey Benson. I won't let you live it down.
No.
Well, Eric, you did pick another Florida State.
Eric, we got a Seminole. Relax. Yeah. We got one. We can't have a whole team of Seminoles.
Lock him in.
All right. Lock him in.
All right. Here we go. We're moving on.
All right.
Although the left
went off just a few picks later.
Trey
Benson went to the Cowboys.
Pick a long snapper in round 3.
The Browns got Jonathan Brooks.
619 wants to know who we got in the first round. We got Byron Murphy, defensive tackle from Texas. 619 in the first round.
Hey guys, we're done with defensive tackles right now. Okay.
Are you sure?
Well, I get to pick, so I'll do whatever I want.
He'll pick whatever he wants.
So let's circle back for those just joining us. This was not an offensive tackle friendly draft. Most of them were gone by the time we picked. Tight end was gone. Wide receiver was gone. So we've double dipped at defensive tackle. And I don't think you could say that if we came out of rounds 1 and 2 with these that any of us would be upset about it.
I wanted
think
Fatanu
those are-
at 18. Thank you, but that's cool.
Oh God. So,
He's
oh,
lying.
Jesus.
He said he wanted Brock Bowers.
No, I didn't. No. Okay.
All right, what do we
So-
got here? Who went before us here?
We're sitting at pick 80. We've got a cornerback that Chris Abrams drained. Defensive tackle Chris Jenkins went off to 78. Devontae Walker at 77. Jalen McMillan, wide receiver at 76.
Good players.
I don't see
Lot
any
of
big
receivers.
names jumping out here.
Lot of
Cedric
receivers.
Van Pran. I'm going to tell you right now, Cedric Van Pran is a big time center.
Yeah,
he
got
is a road grader.
And
He'll be a nice
So-
pick for someone.
your guy Peyton Wilson went 68 to the Patriots, so he is not on the board for us.
Oh, I already know who he's picking. All
right, so let's look who we. Oh, I'm for it. So
Me too.
The top available, we've got Cameron Kitchen, safety of Miami. Junior Colson, linebacker, Michigan. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida. We got to talk about it. Will Shipley, Clemson. Who
Hey,
else?
Shipley is a nice player, but
So
I
here
don't-
it is. Roger Rosengarten is still
Yeah.
on the board.
Ooh.
That's probably our
So-
top tackle.
yeah. So I'd say and I'm gonna have to turn down the opportunity to draft a offensive lineman with the last name Mahogany, but unfortunately. But so when you look at this group here, I mean, there's 4 names that really stand out. Even though I know Cameron Kitchens is one I've seen mocked to Cincinnati, so that would be an interesting one. But the ones that really obviously jump out, Ricky Pearsall, who had a fantastic combine, ran quicker than I expected him to, and I think he put up like 18 reps on the bench, so he had a really standout combine. But I would not say he's a lock there, because you have some other nice options. Will Shipley, who is going to be compared to a poor man's Christian McCaffrey, really nice option there at running back. Another running back who, if you go down a little bit, Eric, there would be a nice choice too. Cincinnati's been on a Michigan kick as of late. The Bengals have loved their Michigan guys. Blake Corum is a fantastic running back. Obviously a little on the short side, but uber productive at the college level. Also had a great combine. I know he put up 30 some odd reps on the bench press, which really impressed a lot of people.
That's impressive.
And then Roger Rosengarten, who had a great combine. So I think you've got 4 really good options there to me, who make a lot of sense. Or we could go McKinley Jackson and get our 330-pound defensive tackle, Mon. What do you say?
We'll get that in free agency.
I think if we go that many defensive tackles, we're going to lose a lot of
Tierre
listeners.
Tart next Monday is going to be a Bengal.
I'll take that. I will take that. I will take Tierre Tart. So what do you think, Justin? I mean, Pearsall's there. Obviously, you spoke about him on our show last week. He's one of your sleeper guys that is a versatile wide receiver type that would fit in, maybe replace Tyler Boyd, possibly. And then obviously the T. Higgins situation still being volatile, but and then you have Rosengarten, the offensive tackle. Again, it's tough. It's tough, right? I personally think the Bengals are going to go and get a tackle in free agency. Jay kind of spoke about it with Mon and I last night, that watch for the Bengals to go out and get an offensive tackle in free agency, and then go get a guy that can be groomed. So maybe Rosengarten's that guy. I don't know. Justin,
Just close that out. Just close it out. We're not wasting our time with Johnny Wilson.
That's what I say. How about the one Florida State Seminole that I don't want us to draft?
Zero chance.
Do not look at Wilson.
It's going to be good.
So what do you think, Justin? What do you think?
All right. So if you can promise me that the Bengals will go out and get a impact offensive lineman in free agency, can you promise that?
No, do not put that on me.
All right. Well, let's say they do. Then let's go ahead and make Pearsall the pick, because that will fill a need, and I think he will be a really good pro.
Daniel Jeremiah really talked him up during the combine. Said a lot of great things about him. He's going to be our new slot guy, and he can play outside also.
And he can. He 100% can. I mean, I don't think he's a true number one, but he's a guy that the best receiver should be able to play in. They should be able to play the slot. They should be able to play outside. I mean, Jamar can do that, and I think Pearsall will 100% be able to do that as well. And let me just add, Herm Edwards, when he was at Arizona State, had Jaden Daniels at quarterback. He had Ricky Pearsall and Johnny Wilson at receiver. And he had Rashad White, right? Is that Rashad White? Is he the running back for the Bucks?
Yeah.
Rashad White?
Yeah.
All those guys in his backfield. How do you mess that up?
That's crazy.
What a waste of talent. All in the same backfield. Yes.
Oh my
It is.
God.
Yeah. So
Yep.
He apparently did not play to win the game at Arizona State.
No.
Like it.
All right, it's Pearsall, right?
Yeah,
Pearsall.
Justin is sending Johnny Wilson packing and drafting Pearsall.
He's going to Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Listen,
Johnny Wilson's going to be a good player. Remember that.
Listen, I will say that. I will say this, that we are catching some hell in the comments about not going offensive tackle, but let me tell you my personal opinion real quick about us and offensive tackle as this draft is going on. It is so scary to me when the Bengals pick offensive line in the first 3 rounds. It's almost terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, I think people forget how badly the Bengals are at evaluating talent on the offensive line. They are bad. They are really bad at it. And it scares the hell out of me taking offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds, knowing that the Bengals just don't do well at evaluating talent on the offensive line. Anyway,
there's some good players. There's some really good players available.
There are, and ironically, several of them are defensive tackles. So go figure.
All right, guys. So we're sitting at 116. Few picks before us. Jamari Thrash went off to the Jaguars. I am not going to try and pronounce Kieran from offensive tackle from Yale. I'm not going to try and pronounce that last name. I got $1 for anybody that can. Running back from Notre Dame went to the Raiders on 113. Another defensive tackle to the Jets at 112. Jordan Travis went to the Vikings at 109. That's interesting.
Eric just loves picking out where the Seminoles are going.
Hey, anybody from the
all Eric is doing is giving us a rundown of when every damn Seminole was picked.
No, I'll find the North Dakota State people too. Oh, Johnny Wilson went to the Niners. I'll take it. And Johnny Wilson will drop the game-winning touchdown against the Bengals in next year's Super Bowl, and we will finally get redemption for all those tears that we cried as children.
Will Shipley,
the anti-John Taylor.
Yes. There
you go. Who's the highest ranked offensive tackle right now?
Highest ranked offensive tackle is Matt Goncalves.
So,
we're not getting a tackle in this draft, guys. This is not working for us.
Christian Jones would be a nice get, although probably a little early for him. You've got white guy with the mullet from Wyoming that ran 4.92. There you go.
Doesn't even have anything here, but it does say that he's 6'8". That's impressive.
This is what gets me. Everybody's databases are so different. Because Christian Jones is ranked much higher in PFF, but
he is. He's
ranked a lot higher. But
that would be a great 4th round pick. Christian.
It would be a good 4th round pick, but I'm also looking at the running back from Tennessee. He ran like a 4.3. Jalen Wright's available.
What about your boy Theo Johnson?
Theo Johnson.
Is that the top? Is that the top tight end?
Well,
Theo Johnson's the top tight end. Followed by
TCU.
Jaheim Bell.
No, I'm not taking Jaheim Bell. Stop
Jaheim
picking
Bell
out.
was good.
Whose pick is it? Is it my pick or we just
your
doing
pick?
that?
It is your pick. Yep.
I'm going to make this very easy. We're not. Theo Johnson, if he is sitting there, we are going tight end right now. I'm telling you right now, we're going tight end.
Make it
Mon,
happen.
this pick is for you, Mon.
We're at pick 116. The top player here is 88. Theo Johnson might.
I mean,
still
let's
be there.
go to offensive tackle real quick. Go to offensive
We're not
tackle.
drafting a running back named Bucky. All right.
Yeah, Justin. I mean, I'm looking at these offensive tackles available right now, and I see no value in taking any of these guys. Am I correct?
Well, I mean, I think Christian Jones is a 4th round pick in that he's in that vicinity, 4th, 5th round. Greenfield had a great combine. Wallace
is good running back, guys. Jalen Wright, a running back, he is unbelievable. What he did at the combine was really good, Justin.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want me to take a guy here for what he did on the field, I mean, I'd probably look more at Ray Davis from Kentucky.
Yeah. I hear you.
I mean, better in terms of what he in production. But I mean, if you're asking, and obviously it's not my pick here, but the guy that I think is really going to be a nice player from that top group is Tyron Hopper from Missouri, who is a really dynamic linebacker and has the ability to affect, be that versatile piece. He can play he's a good in coverage as well as being able to play the run.
I don't remember. I'm trying to remember Ray Davis. He had a really big game against somebody. I just can't remember who that was. Justin, do you remember?
I think it was. I don't know. Lexington Catholic.
Let's make the pick. What's it going to be?
Just one question for Justin though. Theo Johnson, this crazy RAS score, is that going to translate to the field? I mean, we get all excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his production was like. I mean, I don't recall what he have. 34 catches for 341 yards, but he did have 7 touchdowns last year. So he did produce. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty impressive. But yeah, you're talking about.
Yeah, Jeremiah comped him to who's a big tight end that played for the Saints, Graham.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty good comparison.
He comped
Jimmy Graham
to him. Yeah, Jimmy Graham.
But Wiley also had very similar in terms of his measurements, combine, what he did at the combine. He had 47 receptions for 520 and 8 last year. So 2 very good tight ends here on the board.
Is Sennett available?
I don't think so.
No, he's not. He's been picked.
Okay. No, he's been picked. Ben Sennett is off the board. Stranger for 420.
Sorry.
Who do you want, Jake?
I'm gonna go Theo. I'm gonna go Theo Johnson. I mean, again,
right.
to me, I'm just trying to get value here, and I think this is also a position of need for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he's a young guy that the Bengals maybe can groom, and they've struggled in that area. Again, we talk about drafting offensive linemen. They have struggled drafting tight ends. So I mean, to me, this is a great situation that Theo Johnson is still there. I've seen him mocked a lot in a lot of third rounds too. So to me, this is a value pick.
Okay, we're taking Theo Johnson. The pick is in.
Mike Brown, you better sign some people in free agency that play offensive line. We love you, fans.
It's up to you, Mon. Here you go.
I think you could suit up, Mon.
If there's an offensive lineman that played at a Division III college, I'm picking him.
Hey, Javon Baker, there's a UCF guy.
Azusa Pacific.
I do like that Baker kid.
Yeah, he had a good combine too, I think. Didn't he, Justin? Javon Baker?
Yeah, I see Jacob Cowing just went, who had a great combine. Smaller receiver, slot guy from Arizona. All right, who?
So we are sitting here at pick.
Start with the offensive line, and we're not drafting Zach Zinter because I'm not sure. Does he even have both legs? Is he? He's still.
No, just
didn't he? He blew out his knee against Ohio State, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know. All right, so who we got on the offensive line?
We're sitting here we're sitting here at 148. We still don't have our offensive line fixed. The top people available on the board are linebacker out of Texas, Jalen Ford, quarterback out of Washington State, Charles Smith-Wade, linebacker Tyrese Knight, wide receiver Javon Baker, offensive tackle Matt Goncalves, and guard Zach Minter. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and just go to offensive tackles.
There you go, Mon. Those guys are still there.
I mean, we're at the point of just taking Frank Crum in the 6th round here.
No, we're not taking.
Do they have a profile?
No Frank Crum in the 6th round. Sorry.
Wait a second. Christian Jones is available, right?
Yes.
Christian Jones is still available.
That's all I want.
All
Done
right.
deal. PFF
All right.
has
305.
much harder. Yeah. Christian Jones, all the way.
All right. That was easy.
Okay.
If he's available that late, that's what Mel Kiper used to say years ago, grand larceny still. He would say that silly stuff. All right, who's next?
Yeah. Well,
All right.
let's see. I guess I would put Justin. Is that putting Justin next?
Yeah, he's at the 6th round.
What round are we in here?
We are 6th round right now.
Yep.
All right, so Justin's up next. We're simulating.
This is round. We're still on round 5.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
you
1,
guys
2,
can.
3, 4, 5.
I'll take the next picks. One of you guys can take this one.
Okay.
All right, I'll swap with you. I'll go ahead and take this one.
All right.
All right. So listen, I want to see who the top running backs are right now, please.
Okay. So just for the audience out there, previous picks were tight end out of Iowa, linebacker Tommy Eichenberg to the Cowboys, a running back from Louisville to the Chiefs because they don't have enough running backs.
Yeah, and that guy, wasn't he the one that tore? He was the one who had, I think, the best combine of all the running backs. I think he ran like a 4.35 at like 225 pounds.
Oh, the kid from Louisville?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He had the
best available. Best available, we're saying a safety out of Oregon State, linebacker from Penn State, offensive guard from Miami. I don't see any big names jumping out of me. Stop me if you see one.
Definitely not at running back.
No,
I mean, offensive tackle might be a good option here.
So your best running back.
Who's BPA?
Best player. Well, best player available is safety at Oregon State, Katan Oladapo.
That's a need, right? I don't know very much about him.
I don't either.
Justin, you know anything about this kid? Let's see what it says here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's that. I did read a little bit. He's the bigger safety they have. Yeah, I do remember a little of him. But
so maybe kind of what we already got last year, right? I mean, I don't know how that really helps us very much. I mean, I think Battle is going to be that guy for us this year. We need more of a free type of safety. What about this other kid from Oregon, this safety from Oregon, Evan Williams?
I don't know much about him.
Click on him. Hey, let's see what it says about him.
Go to tight end real quick. Who's available at tight end? I know.
We're double dip again.
Tight end.
I know that we could always. Yeah. Okay. Jim was mentioning.
I know the Illinois kid was pretty impressive at the combine. He's like 270, and he ran a pretty nice 40. He's more of a blocking inline tight end, but interesting player.
Zim says Holker right here from. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? That's a tight end that he had a really good combine, right?
He's the one made the one-handed catch.
Give me that guy. Give me him. I'm going with. I love it, Zim. Yes, that's my pick.
So we're gonna.
I'm double dipping.
We're gonna double dip at defensive tackle and tight end.
Yes.
And we're not going to talk about tight end for the next 4 years because you guys are both going to get
That's right.
This is Bengals Pulse. We do what we want. Bengals Pulse.
All right, I like it, Zim. Thank you, Zim.
Yes,
that is. I love that guy. We're double dipping. Boom.
Normally, I get sick of hearing Jake about wide receivers. Now I'm going to get sick of hearing about tight ends.
Hey, remember
Yeah.
that mock draft I did last year? I picked all wide receivers and I sent it to you guys. Like, this is Jake's mock draft.
All right, so what do we got here? Where are we picking
Yeah,
at?
196 and cornerback, linebacker went off before us. So we still haven't touched on cornerback, and I know that was one of the things that you talked about before. This is Justin's pick. Top players on the board are that safety from Oregon, another defensive tackle, wide receiver from Holy Cross. Anything you want to specifically look at here, Justin?
No, I already know who I'm taking, but I'm going to let the other, Jake and Mon give their 2 cents first.
Listen, when I get late in the draft like this, I want to draft an athlete to help special teams, a cornerback, a wide receiver,
Punter.
somebody, a running back, because Darren Simmons wants athletes on special teams. So I would lean towards that. Whoever the highest rated safety or cornerback is, draft them, get them in there because they could be special teams staples. That's where I would lean.
Yeah, for me, I'm going punter. I mean, this is the 6th round, baby. I'm going punter.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Jake. So the 5, I'm gonna give you a list here. The 5 greatest offensive weapons in the history of the University of Iowa: Niall Kinnick, Tim Dwight, Brad Banks, George Kittle, and Torrey Taylor. My pick.
Yes, I called it a punter. Yes.
No, really?
There he is. There he is. Draft him.
Yes.
There he is.
Yes.
362. You can get him in the 7th.
No.
We didn't.
I think he
We
beat
got him at
Daniel
6.
Sepulveda's 40 times, so we're gonna hear about him from
Can he play
Will
linebacker?
Piper. Yeah,
Okay.
they think
Justin, there's
he can
something
be
wrong. My finger won't push the button. I just can't do it.
No, yep, do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Wow.
I love it,
All right.
Justin. I love it. I absolutely love that pick.
All right. Well,
Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a fun show,
Uh-huh.
but I'm really bummed out.
Listen,
We
this
waited to the 5th round to get an offensive tackle. We should all be taken off the air.
Come on.
Yeah.
no,
Come on.
that's how the draft came
Listen.
to us.
Listen, Mon.
I
Listen
know.
to me.
I know.
Listen to me. Tell me the last offensive lineman the Bengals have drafted in the first 3 rounds that amounted to anything that's not named Andrew Whitworth.
We still
Go,
got to
Mon.
try. We still have to try.
Go, Mon.
We still have to
Just
try.
name me one. Just name me one. Not named Andrew Whitworth, Mon. Name me one
Wow.
Bengal offensive lineman that was worth anything that was taken the first 3 rounds.
Kevin Zeitler.
But we
Zeitler.
let him walk. So
Yeah.
oh no, Frank Crumb's gone. Dang it.
I'm so disappointed. Frank Crum went off to the Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan stole our
Is
mullet.
this my pick? Is this my pick?
I think we're at the point where it doesn't matter, but yeah.
Pick the center from Michigan.
Oh, Drake Nugent.
Drake Nugent. Okay.
That's Ted's grandson.
Cat scratch fever. Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah.
And he's only 6'1", so Joe can see
Yeah,
over him.
man. Jeez. Dude works at freaking
Yeah.
picking him from Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah.
You're good about it? You don't want to look at anybody else?
No,
That's it?
I mean, listen, the Troy running back is a big guy that had a decent combine. He actually ran quicker than I thought. I
The
remember
Georgia
seeing him
running
run.
back, Edwards is a nice player.
Right.
Actually,
People thought-
both
You
Georgia
got-
running backs are nice.
A lot of people going into the combine thought Vidal was going to run slow. He actually ran pretty quick. But
All right, I'm gonna tell you.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a guy that I just saw. If you go back down, Eric, I'm not suggesting that Cincinnati draft him, but definitely a guy they should make a priority in the undrafted guys is Cody Schrader from Missouri, who is a really nice player. Hard to say what his upside is at the next level, but to me would be a guy to definitely bring in after the fact, or even maybe a late, maybe the late in the 7th round. That might be a guy worth taking a flyer on.
Right. Okay, so what do we got? The highest rated player is who?
Edge from UConn, Eric Watts.
Okay.
Eric W,
Eric
by the
Watts.
way. So.
Hey,
I know Tip, the tight end from Illinois, really had a great combine, but that'd be 3 tight ends in a draft. We can't do that.
Well, the
Um,
way this draft is
I'm
going,
gonna
you sure you
walk
don't want
off
a
the
QB?
set and
Come on.
draft another
I
tight
was
end.
I was thinking about a QB, but I'm not going to do that. I want the center from Michigan. All right, because
All right.
we have to start potentially developing one because this is Karras's last year. Give me Nugent.
Okay, the pick is in.
So we have one more pick, right?
One more pick. Yep. And
Eric,
one
do
more
it.
goes-
Pick it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah,
Eric,
okay.
just find whatever Seminoles left and pick them.
Yeah.
Seminole or North Dakota player. That's what we'll look for.
Yeah. Go ahead
maybe,
and draft the backup long snapper from FSU.
Hey, I do want to
Sure,
say, I do
sure.
want to throw this out here. Just let me throw this out here. We have another DB from Nebraska. Cam Taylor Britt was a great pick. We have not picked a DB, and we have Mr. Newsome from Nebraska sitting there. Is he a good player? Justin, you know anything about him?
No, I don't know anything about Newsome.
I'm just going. I'm
TBD.
just
They don't
going.
know his height.
He's not even have a height. They don't even know how tall he is. How do they have him rated? There's a couple Nebraska guys there. Oh, hey, there's a UCF guy,
There we go.
Patterson. Oh, dude, there's a guy from Toronto,
Listen, that's a name I want to
Quantez-
Stickers. Come on.
Stiggers. Come on,
Quantez.
I would draft him. I would draft the guy from Toronto personally.
Storm
There's
Duck?
a guy named Storm
Oh.
Duck.
That's who we
Do
gotta
it.
go. That's a
Do
great
it.
name.
Pick the
Come on,
highest
man.
rated cornerback.
Listen,
Just
that
pick
would
the
be
highest rated cornerback.
Listen,
I
that would
want
be the
Storm
highest
Duck.
selling jersey in Bengals history if you get Storm Duck. That's
Yes.
got to be the best name I have heard in this entire draft.
Okay, listen.
Storm
After this draft concludes, we're going to look at our picks. I want everybody on this panel to give me 2 free agent signings to supplement those draft picks.
Okay. I
Oh,
like
Okay.
gosh. All right.
Let's
I
do
like
that.
it.
All right. So, Eric, pick your guy.
Man, you guys leave me for this round. There's nobody left.
Oh, we love you. Just highest rated quarterback.
There's
Come on.
not even any FSU players. They're so good that there's no FSU players left.
Mm.
And the one North Dakota guy's already gone.
Hmm.
All right, we're just going to go with the highest rated cornerback and hope that he is not 5'3", because they don't have a height for him.
All right,
So
cool.
we're taking Quentin Newsome, wrapping it up. That's the end of the draft. And
All
then
right,
we're going to
so-
run off and sign Storm Duck as an unrestricted free agent.
All right. So, I'm
me go
happy with the
first?
draft picks. Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I wanted an offensive lineman at 18, but I don't have a problem with Murphy. Defensive line is a huge need. We talked about that. They keep 10 defensive linemen every year on this roster. I could see 4 new faces. And if you add Murphy and Fisk, that's a home run for the Bengals. Yeah, I'm concerned about the offensive tackle position. Christian Jones, if he does make it that far, would be a steal. Other mock simulators have him going much earlier. Cincinnati has got to get a right tackle. Hopefully, one of the tackles for the Patriots will end up signing with the Bengals. Maybe Trent Brown. Give us at least 2 years. Give us at least 2 years. And we need a vet defensive lineman. I know we just drafted 2, but I would love to potentially get maybe Leonard Williams. I know he's going to cost some money, but he's an impact player. He would help the team tremendously. We need to jazz up that defense. And we talked about this last night with Jay Morrison. They have got to get a safety, maybe Cameron Curl from Washington. He's young. He's only 25 years old. He's a 7th rounder that's really just, figured things out, become one of the better safeties. And that can make Dax Hill sort of a joker type, put him all over the place, maybe, put him in the slot a little bit. But those are the 2 picks I would like to see. I'd like to see a safety and an offensive lineman, obviously, because we didn't draft one. And potentially another defensive tackle. But if I have to pick 2, it's going to be a right tackle, Trent Brown, Cameron Curl, a safety, to go with our draft picks. Bengals going to the playoffs.
Mon, that's my two picks. You
Okay.
can't take those. Trent Brown and Cameron Curl for the Bengals. Lock that in right now. And this draft that we just did, that everybody is ripping, is going to be awesome. If you get Trent Brown and Cameron Curl right now with this draft, sign it up. Sign it up. We're back to the bowl. Because I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know a lot of these other guys toward the end, but Byron Murphy and Brandon Fisk will be a centerpiece in that Bengals defense for a very, very long time. Again, the Pearsall thing, I'm gonna go with our guy Justin. If anytime you can put weapons around Joe Burrow, you're in good shape. And throw Theo Johnson in there as well at tight end. I love it. Give me Trent Brown. Give me Cameron Curl in free agency. And this draft is an A minus. I'll give it an A minus.
Okay.
Fair. So real quick, for those on YouTube, we do have this up on the screen, but for those listening to us, they may not have gotten all of the full details. So we'll just summarize where our draft went here before we get to wrapping up and some final comments. Offensive tackle really was not available to us early on. So with the first pick, we took Byron Murphy, defensive tackle out of Texas. In the second round, we double dipped with Braden Fisk out of Florida State. We jumped over the offensive side in the third round and grabbed Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. We then went and took Theo Johnson in the next round out of Penn State, followed by offensive tackle Christian Jones out of Texas. Another double dip at tight end with Dallin Holker out of Colorado State. We're giving Brad Roberts some competition, going back-to-back years, drafting a punter with Torrey Taylor. And then we drafted offensive center Drake Nugent, followed by Quentin Newsome, who we all assume is 5'5" cornerback out of Nebraska.
Hey, he's the best 5'5" cornerback ever to come out of Nebraska.
Yep, watch. He'll come and be like 6'3", just be a monster.
Justin, what do you think? What do you think?
Justin, what do you think about the draft, and what do you think about two potential free agents?
Well, I kind of hate this draft, to be honest, but I'm kidding. But no, I mean I am of the opinion they got to go offensive tackle early. When you look at free agency, yeah, Trent Brown would be a great addition, former Florida Gator, I might add. Someone like Mekhi Becton from the Jets maybe is another one kind of in that same mold. And then I'm going to throw out another former Gator for you who I think would add a much needed attitude in the secondary on the back end, and that's CJ Gardner-Johnson, who would add some spice and is kind of needed. Need a little swagger back there. And I like the point about Dax Hill playing him more in a joker position, because when he was at Michigan, that was really where he excelled, was when he was moved around the field, when he played different roles. It really enhanced his value as a player. So that might be something the Bengals need to look to do. Get some more pieces in the back end and free him up to sort of freelance a little bit more. But overall, I think if you look at this draft, you're hitting a lot of the things you need. You got two offensive linemen. I do think a tight end is important. I don't know about two. I think Ricky Pearsall would be a great addition, but it doesn't have to be him. A lot of great receivers in there. Certainly Murphy and Fisk, either one of those guys would be a huge boost to the interior of the defensive line. So, overall, in terms of what it ultimately produced, there's a lot of needs filled with this draft. But I think the order will probably look a little different in where these guys are taken in terms of addressing different positions.
Justin, 2 weeks ago, you mentioned Pearsall quite a bit. Then if you did watch the Combine, he was one of the stars of that Combine. They talked about him quite a bit. So, I mean, he's really going to skyrocket. I don't know where he was beforehand. Was he a third or fourth rounder? They had him up in the second round. Speculations.
I think when you started this process, he was probably a 3rd or 4th round guy, improved his standing by going out to the Senior Bowl, and then the combine just reinforced what the tape shows, and that he's got a lot of athleticism. And for being 190 pounds, he's a really strong guy as well.
Well, Vanguard says he could be our Cooper Kupp. So if that's the case, Justin, excellent.
I hate that. I hate that comparison because I think Pearsall is much quicker than Kupp. But yes, I mean in terms of impact, yes, I think he could have that type of impact. Absolutely.
Well,
For sure.
I'll take half a Cooper Kupp. I'll take half of
I'll take half a cup of Cooper, right?
I'll take half of an Anthony Munoz right now at tackle. Or a quarter.
Well, hey, go ahead, Eric.
So this draft really does not set up. So a lot of my opinions early on were go get a Luminor and then draft an offensive tackle. I don't know that this draft sets up for a Luminor. I think that this might set up for these first two, to me, sets us up to bring DJ Reader back, because what do you need when you've got those two young defensive tackles? Bring Reader back on a team-friendly deal. He doesn't have to rush back to performance, but he can provide that leadership. But I don't know if this has us signing a Luminor or not, because I think you would want a more throwing more money at somebody else.
The more established right tackle.
Thankfully, free agency comes before the draft, and we don't get to make these mistakes.
2 weeks after free agency, let's do this mock again.
We will mock it up. We will mock it up again. And remember, listeners, check out our free agency show this Friday. We sit down with Jay Morrison. And let me tell you guys, you are not going to want to miss it. Jay throws out a lot of interesting things that are being talked about even today. He is definitely in the know. So check out the Bengals Pulse this Friday morning. This coming up Friday morning at 9 a.m. We sit down with Jay Morrison. Justin, thank you so much once again for coming on, man. We love to have you on. Yes, we appreciate all the insight, and thank you for picking a punter. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I got one thing, Jake.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say hooday to everybody and thank everybody. We've got 604 people in the chat. I think that might be a Pulse record, especially for an off-season show. We appreciate your support.
Thank you, guys.
Share this with your friends. It's really nice to drum up this much excitement. I mean, we're excited about it, and we know the whole world should be excited. So it's really, really fun to have you guys in the chat with us.
Thanks a lot. We got to have you back on closer to the draft.
Do we know how many of those people in the chat are from Athens, Georgia?
I blocked them all, Justin. I blocked them all.
Oh, good.
Just for you, Justin.
Thank you.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening and being involved with the show tonight. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the support. Once again, for the Bengals Pulse, we're going to be bringing you stuff. Listen, it's about to get exciting, guys. It is Christmas and springtime. The Monday is the tampering period, 4 days away, and we're going to be talking a lot of free agency next week on the Bengals Pulse as well. Again, check out the show on Friday with Jay Morrison this Friday morning at 9 a.m. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, give us that 5-star review. We'd very much appreciate that. Follow Mon on Twitter at @TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter at CoachJakeOwens9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's, 88. Follow the Cincinnati Podcast Network on Twitter at WinCincinnatiPod. As always, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. And on Instagram, the same without the @ Bengals_Pulse9. And follow Justin on Twitter at Justin L. Wells as well. Again, Justin, thank you so much for coming on. He is Mon. He is Justin. Eric's up above me. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hooday, Bengal fans. We will see you on Friday.